Alright, this is Grayson with Gorgon's Plumbing and Sewer. We're over at Gen 3 nearby. Currently we're pushed out almost 120 feet. We're right underneath the riser that is outside, located by the power poles. Very difficult to push out. We've done multiple jetting passes. The riser outside is only outbound, however. We've flushed all the toilets and ran water inside a ridiculous amount to try and flush out as much sediment as we could. There's still quite a bit of sediment, as you can see. And it also, I don't know if it's the pipe or if it is all the sediment that's built up that's causing it to be kind of flat or somewhat back-pitched sometimes. But it does not drain quite like it should. It takes quite a while for the water to reach all the way out to this point. So we're going to do a second video from the riser outbound. The whole line's cast iron, which was very rough getting through. There's a couple of turns on the way out. We're cameraing from the clean out that is right beside the toilet. So due to all of the sediment, it's very difficult to tell if there's any issues with the cast iron or anything like that. But I see there's some pretty large chunks of sediment, so I don't know if maybe there was a crack or something at some point. Whenever I located to make sure that I was pushed out to the riser, it was almost 6 feet down, so not too terribly deep. And you can see that line where our water was sitting for a very long time, kind of almost where the natural level was before we jetted. And there was a couple of spots that weren't necessarily offsets, but I don't know if the bottom of the cast has started to go, because we've got that little channel that we fall into and then we rise up out of. So difficult to tell if it's just sediment, but as you can see, we pretty much had to bore a little tunnel through, and then now we're up. So might need to do a repair, and if we do, then we can put two-way risers in, and that way whenever we do our jetting, we can go both ways and get all the sediment out of the line. But overall, the pipe seems to be in pretty decent condition. It almost looks like we're in clay, but I just didn't see any transition between cast iron and clay. But it was also very, very difficult pushing out, so we could be in clay, but I believe it's all cast iron. I know that our riser is cast iron, except for the very top, which is PVC. But we don't really have too much in the ways of bellies going on right now, which is good. So as long as we run our cable 120 feet from the clean out inside, we can then get the rest of the run outside if we're running cable and not jetting. spot there. That could be our transition. The edge of that looks strange. So I don't know if that's a band or not. Man. Looks like a cork. A wine cork. So there's these little, almost like little putty patches. At a couple of the joints. So, a little strange. We're not currently running water, so that is a belly that we might be falling into a channel of the cast, which is what that kind of looks like. This is 20 feet from the clean out. So it kind of zigzags out, which is why it was so difficult to push our camera out. We did get all the scale and build up back here almost all the way out. We're going to keep running water, and ideally, if I can find where it ties in, see if we can jet backwards to pull all of that stuff out to the city. So this little area here, right before it goes out, the toilet that this is right next to ties in after that little really dirty area. So I don't know if there's a good way to get that out. So again, this is Grayson with Garments. Thank you.